Hey, everybody here? Woo! I am so excited. I am so excited. I am so excited. And I can't even spell. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is such an amazing day. And we're going to pin our post, and it's going to work out quick. And it did. Hey, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Come on in and join the party. We are in the cafe. Does everybody have their drinks? Everybody with their drinks? We got Tori here ready to join. Let me get everybody in here, Miss Tori. Oh, get myself together. Welcome to the Sweet Life Cafe. If you've never been here before, welcome to the Sweet Life Cafe. I got my very, very, very special mug tonight. Saying hi to everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I am a little congested, so I'm feeling kind of funky here tonight, but I'm going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to talk, and we're going to learn all about an amazing woman. I'm so excited to bring her to me. Posh Girls Club in the house. Welcome to the cafe. Let me get Tori in here. I'm going to talk a little bit about her. So we're going to cut the music down. We're going to start. Oops, that went down quick. Hi, everybody. I sound terrible. I know, because I have a cold. Of all times, I get a cold. Everybody in my house got a cold, and then I got a cold. What's up, Leisha? So, welcome to Sweet Life Cafe. If you've never been here, this is my little talk show. Yes, it's my little talk show where I bring on amazing women from all different backgrounds. And yes, drop them diamonds for Miss Tori, who's coming on tonight. I have such an honor to be able to bring women on this platform, talk about their businesses, talk about their lives, share their experiences, and help us all find their sweetest life. My goal right here for this platform is to give women resources that help them build a sweet, sweet life, the sweetest life. And that's what the Sweet Life is all about. So I've been working, 51 years old, 4 kids, 31 years of marriage. I got a little bit of experience on this thing called life, so I'm here to share it with you. But I am so excited because I'm going to get Tori in here right now because we have so much to talk about. So is everybody ready to meet Miss Tori Torres? Let me get her back over here. There we go. Tori. Okay, we're going to invite. This is so exciting. I got my special mug. Everybody got their drinks? Cheers. Tori's going to be joining us here. There you
go. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yay! This is so exciting. Everybody, this is Tori Torres.
Hey, boo, hey.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Sweet Life Cafe. I got my special mug tonight at my cafe. And I have a cold, so I got a little extra toddy in here. So if I get a little out of control, it's because I got a little extra toddy in here to help me with my cold. So it may get a little wild up in here.
Hi, my girls. Hey, y'all.
Everybody's coming in. This is so exciting.
So exciting.
So I just have to tell everybody. I'm going to tell you the story on how I met Tori, and then I'll let Tori tell her story.
Yes,
so it was a year ago. I was laying on the couch sick. About a year ago this time, actually. Sick on the couch. I started watching Instagram stories. I started watching the stories called Business Rules for Women. And this spunky woman with this big smile came on there, and I was like, oh my God, like, she's so positive. I love her energy. Oh my God. Then I started watching her at my desk at work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 o'clock. I still remember.
Yes.
I love her. Hey.
Oh my
and then, you know what? She encouraged me so much. She inspired me so much that I started building this brand because I had just closed my other business down about 4 months before. I knew I wanted to do something that had to do with women empowerment. That's all I knew. And that's what this brand is. It's all about giving women resources to give them. Empowerment is giving back power. That's all it is. And that is my goal. And so I brought Tori on because I know there's lots of women like me who wanted to start businesses, who didn't know how to start a business. And she has guided me in this direction, has helped my business to like flourish into touching so many lives. So I'm glad to have you here.
Oh, thank you, Steph. I love you. You better not make me cry tonight. You understand me?
I might.
You know how easy it is for me to break down in tears. You already made me cry. at like 2 days before Christmas. I was like, I will not cry tonight.
Yeah, well, it was all the truth. It was all the truth. So can you tell everybody, like, how did you get started? Tell us a little bit about your story.
Okay. Well, my story goes back, and I always think of all these different points. I've always been an entrepreneur on some level. I've always made stuff, sold stuff, created ways to make money. And you know, this wasn't always clear to me, really, until you really start to have to tell your story to people. It wasn't always clear. And then one day it hit me like, I remember being a little girl at my grandma's house. My mommy was in college. And I was with my grandma, like so many of us were, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And my mommy was in college, and I was, she was at Miami-Dade, you know, and I was selling ice pops, literally ice trays with Kool-Aid and a thing.
Wow.
And then that went on to creating my own magazine in middle school, full circle. Isn't that it?
Wow.
And so in middle school, I started a magazine and gave all my friends different parts to run of their own. It was hilarious. And then in high school, I did greeting cards. And if anyone has seen my About Me page, then you've seen the greeting card that my grandma sent me. Grandma Licious mailed it to the boys. True story, my gram, you know, she died a year and a half ago. And just before she died, she mailed these cards to my boys. And they were cards that I made. And the cards that I made them in high school. I literally typed them, wrote the poems, typed them, bought the paper, the card stock, put them together. Like I did it all, and I sold them in little boutiques. Went to the boutiques to ask them if I could sell my stuff. True story. And she mails this card to my babies. And it says success on the outside. And it was this poem that I wrote about success and climbing up the ladder and pulling back to reach for the person behind you. Like it literally brought me to my knees. I couldn't even believe it. She died a couple months later. So even then, that was always my goal. So, but I didn't know. It just goes to show how life happens, right? So fast forward to being a stay-at-home mommy, and I didn't have the nicest husband. We won't get all into that right now.
We won't yet. No.
But I was a stay-at-home mommy, and I needed my own money. I did.
Well, you know what? I didn't even get to do your intro. I was so excited to get over here. I didn't even get to do like the intro that I had. So let me go back and read the intro. I was
Let's do the intro.
We're going into the details. All right. Tori Torres is a South Florida girl. She's mommy to Christiane and Carmelo. She's daughter to who she affectionately calls El Boogie. She's a serial entrepreneur, as you've already heard, like from elementary school, junior high to high school.
Yeah.
Created the first crystal phone case and made that like a phenomenon. She's been on MTV, VH1, Bravo TV, BT, House of Diane von Furstenberg, and Project Runway.
Yes.
That's just from her first business. She also created Diamond Girls, the magazine, which I've been featured in. Thank you very much.
Yes, you are one of our writers.
Started the Posh Girls Club, the Socialite Suite, runs 2 six-figure businesses, total of 4 businesses. She's a luxury brand builder and does this all from her cute little room that she's sitting in right now.
I do. From my cute little home office. Thank you, Steph. Thank you. And I appreciate that. The things that I'm most proud of are very easy for me. It's number one, and this is again how I believe in manifestation and how you make things come into your world. So often we're taught that we're supposed to do things a certain way. Y'all are going to meet El Boogie very soon, and you're going to find out. I refused. She's like, you live in fantasy world. And I do. I just refused to believe that life was supposed to happen for me or any of us the way that people tell us, right?
Wow.
And so I have always been that person. But the thing that makes me most proud is my goal was always, I said, the second I laid eyes on Chrissy, it was game over. Y'all know I'm obsessed with this boy, okay? I'm obsessed with both of my boys. It's something about, well, I have a first and a baby. So they have their, like, amazing places in each way, right?
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, he's your favorite. Oh, he's your favorite. It just depends on where we are in the time of day.
Who's mama's favorite? Whoever needs mama the most.
That's right. That's right. You know about that. But yeah, for me, it was the forefront of my mind after I saw him was, okay, what am I going to do with all this ambition? Because I'm never leaving this boy.
Wow.
Never leaving him. And then the other thing for me that's the greatest is giving the give back. Like, it just makes me so emotional. It really does. It makes me, when I get your messages, and I get them from the ladies in my community like you, and then I get them from people that send me a message once and we never meet again. But it's something very emotional and beautiful about being able to do that for me.
I'm totally starting to feel that now, and that's, I mean, and that really what keeps me going is getting that positive feedback. And you've been an entrepreneur for a long time. What has kept you motivated and kept you going forward in it, not getting discouraged?
That's easy. That one's really easy for me. My sons are watching. My boys are watching, and I watch them go through hardships. Mr. Man, I could talk about, and I want to talk on this a little bit because I never told anybody. Mr. Man, and people might judge, but he got, I figured I'm coming on Steph's Sweet Life. I need to keep it all the way open, right? we talking home, real stuff, right? So Mr. Man had problems at school last year not because he's a bad kid. He is like the funniest, the brightest, the most giant ball of laughter and joy. Like, he is literally, we can't have any dull moments. He drives me nuts because every single word out of his mouth is a joke, right? We were like, me and Chrissy are like, come on, man, can we just write? But he got in trouble for selling something in school, not drugs, nobody go crazy, okay? Nothing like that.
Hold it.
In school that he's not, like, you can't even sell candy in school.
Oh,
and
wow.
He is an entrepreneur, just like his mommy and just like his daddy became. And so he, for me, it's like, I don't want my kids to feel like they have to be stuck in a rut, stuck in a specific way of life, a specific way of doing things. So I was like, fine, I'm going to take him out of school and I'll homeschool him so he can be the person he can be. That could have taken him off of his path, but it didn't. Chrissy, he has struggled with baseball because of that year and a half that he had off. You guys have heard me say where he got hit in the head with the baseball bat. Yeah. And did the kid give up? No, he didn't. He got off the ground. Yes, he went to the hospital because he had a concussion and a giant rock-like size knot on his head. Oh, wow. But he didn't give up. And that's because that is what I keep teaching them. So if I'm teaching them that, I gotta show them. I can't give up just because shit gets hard. Sorry, Steph. I don't know if you can say it.
No, that's fine. And, you know, that's
but
one of the reasons I had you on here is because, you know, this week was all about legacy, about Martin Luther King. And I've watched you and your boys, and I watched what you're doing through them and what you're building in them. Yeah. And as a mom and a single mom at that, who, you know, majority of the time single mom, I told you I wasn't going to make you cry, but that is, you know, that honors a lot because there's a lot of single moms out there who are challenged by, you know, being able to balance raising great kids and instilling in them that kind of, those kind of values. And especially with our education system. How's he doing? How's he doing at homeschool?
He's amazing. And you know what's fun? Y'all know I go to bat for my babies. I go to bat.
I remember
and
that.
Not just them. Yeah, not just them, but their friends in the community. I just had a conversation with Chrissy's principal the other day, and this is so important. Excuse me. This is so important in our communities, and I want mommies, single mommies, I want you to take note. I know one of our ladies, Alunwa, she's raised all Ivy League kids. It's
yes.
Not me. I'm amazed. Steph has raised 4.
Yes.
Like, seriously. Okay. We're a community of women who love our children, our sons, our daughters. And we can love them, but if we don't do something and step in for all of them, and we don't get into what's happening in these schools. I live in North Carolina. I live in Charlotte. I'm from South Florida. And then I lived in New York. I know nothing about this Carolina school system, except at 16, they could try you as an adult. That I know.
Wow.
The only state in the country that's true. Okay, so anything that happens with my kids, I'm going to talk to the principal because my kid is not going to be the one. It's not going to happen. I'm on watch. I want them to know I'm paying attention. I am looking. You're not going to get anything by me, okay? And I think, and I had a conversation with Chrissy's principal. Quick story stuff. I'm going to throw this in and try to do it. So quick story, and this is what one of my missions. It really is, because my babies are going to be, one of them, Chrissy's going to be out in a year, but this is a mission for other mommies and single mommies who don't have that support system. They got to go in and they have to like fight for their babies without being hostile or passionate, or, you know, we got to hold it back because people want to judge us and all those things, right?
Yep.
So Chrissy hadn't gotten his agenda. I'm like, okay, so what do we need to do to get the agenda? You know, Christian is brilliant and blonde. Sorry, blondes. I love y'all. It's just a thing I say. I don't mean blonde. There's anything wrong with blondes. It's just, I consider myself a blonde. Like, I have these moments. It's a term, okay? He's brilliant and blonde is my little thing for him, right? And so the hard stuff, he scores in the 98th percentile and everything. But yet, and that's literally the truth. His whole life, though. And then day-to-day stuff, it's gone, right? So apparently they've been telling him that he didn't have his agenda. I didn't know he didn't have his agenda because Chrissy self-manages. He really does since day one, right?
Is the agenda like their school planner or?
Yes.
Okay.
Honor student, not a single infraction ever in his whole life. And finally, we have this issue with getting the planner. So finally we get the planner, and the principal, Chrissy he snaps me in the middle of the day and he's like, Mommy, I just got in trouble. I'm like, what? What do you mean you just got in trouble? What'd you do? And he's like, well, the principal just kind of attacked me. And he's like, I can't tell you now because we're not supposed to be on our phones, but I'll tell you when I get home. Still following the rules, my kid. Comes home, runs up the stairs. Now he's got to tell me the story. So they have this whole conversation. The principal is like, you don't have your agenda. You don't have your agenda? You don't, like, he said it like 6 times. Christian's a man, so he's respectful, but now he's like, okay, now you're attacking me. You know, can we get to it? So long story short, he listens, he lets the guy carry on, and he gives him a thumbs up as he's leaving. Big mistake, because now the principal literally like attacks him. My point is, we had this whole thing with the principal. He told him, if I were your parents, I would beat you. That's what he said to him. Yes. That's what he said to Chrissy. So of course, I go in and, now he shows me the video with no sound. But the point is, we got to hold these people accountable. At the end of the conversation, he asked me, I went in, I did my Harvard thing, and at the end of the conversation, he was like, so what would you like me to have done differently? And I simply said, I want you to look at these kids. My son is an honor student. He is in all honors classes. That's since he was in 7th grade. He's only been in honors classes. He's never had a single infraction. All of these different things. I said, what I want you to do, and what I want you to teach your staff is to look at these kids as individual people. That's what I want you to do. And it will make such a difference. If you get nothing else out of this conversation, that's what I want you to do. So as a mommy, like, that's one of my missions. Really, it is to help make the school systems better. I know I'm so long-winded. I'm sorry.
No, I feel you, girl, because I've had that happen. I had a child with dyslexia and ADHD, a musician. I mean, that's the one. He lives overseas now.
Yes, that's my cutie.
Teachers didn't like him. I mean, I was that student. I was that student that teachers couldn't stand because I talked and I was like, I liked interacting with people. I didn't want to sit in my seat and listen. I wanted to do stuff that required movement, and they couldn't stand me. I was like, whatever. I'm going to go out of here and great.
That's right. Look at you now.
Those are the types of, and exactly, now I talk. Everything I do has to do with me interacting with people. But those are the types of teachers don't like.
What my teachers always told El Boogie was, we love Tori. She's a great student. She's amazing, but she talks too much.
That's what they said about me. That's
Look
exactly
at
what they
hello, debate
said about me.
champion.
Wait a minute. I saw my French teacher at my 20-year reunion, and I planned the reunion, mind you. I saw her at the reunion. She's like, oh, I see you still talk a lot.
Yes, and?
I was like, Yep, and I'm gonna make money doing it too one day.
Yes, you are.
That's what I
yes,
said to
you
her.
Are.
Girl, bye.
Isn't that crazy? And that's exactly why I took Mr. Man out of public school. I was like, you know what? My kid has a gift. He can sell water to a well. And what you are not going to do is take away or, mute his gift. Because y'all teachers, because I know there's some great teachers. My best friend is a teacher. And Fort Lauderdale, I am not bashing teachers. But there's some lazy people out here. Okay? Yeah. And I know they have different personalities. Hello. I get it. Guess what? So do we all. So do we all, right? We all got different personalities to deal with and different issues to deal with. And somebody's mad at me because I said blinds. They're going to DM me in a minute. Right. We all have shit to deal with, okay?
And that's the truth. That is so true. And that's even true of like in real life experience. And for kids like Mr. Maya, who are starting to understand that, and Christian, that even when you're in a job, if you have a personality that somebody doesn't like, and your personality is your personality, that's the way God made you, that's exactly how you're supposed to be, that people can mistreat you just because of that. And that's why, like, we as women and we as moms sticking up for our kids, and then we're sticking up for ourselves. Like, I've been told so many times I talk too much. I'm like, that's the way I'm made. Like, then we won't interact. Like, that's
it. It's not your people. It's not your people. It's not your people.
Yeah, they totally judge you. You're right. They totally judge you, someone said. And that's true. And that's not, even with kids, like to judge a kid for who they are and not build a curriculum for who they are and not. Yeah. Someone told me recently, you teach the personality. Oh, it was about coaching. It was about coaching. And a good coach, someone told me, a good coach coaches the personality first. And not the skills. So they look at how that person is made, the way they learn, and they coach them based on. And I was like, that is true. And that holds the same for a teacher. I wanted you to talk a little bit about how you're building your legacy.
So true.
Because, isn't it though?
That's so true. Oh, wait, you're breaking up a little bit. I didn't hear what you said.
I said, because we get those cookie cutter teachers, cookie cutter coaches.
Okay, are you back? Can you hear
Instagram's trying to steal our glory right now. We're not going to let it happen.
We are not. We're just going to pause a second. They are not going to steal our moment. I know sometimes I be like animated, so I have to sit still.
Go ahead, because I want you to tell some of the things you're doing to feed into their lives to build their legacy. Because I know a couple of them, but I want you to share them.
So some of the things that I am doing to feed, I think that's what you asked me.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the first things that I did before, right as I was pregnant with Mr. And actually El Boogie tried to get us to do this way when we first eloped because we were crazy. Crazy kids, we eloped. And the very first thing, once she accepted the fact that I had run off and married this man, and she was like, what? She took the credit cards away, honey. She was like, no, ma'am.
Dang, El Boogie.
But one of the first things she told us to do and actually wanted to help us do was purchase our first home. Because when you have your real estate, it's just, you build on that. So we didn't do it right away for other reasons, but eventually we did get to that. And the homes, we bought 3 back in 3 years. And the first home I ever bought was actually the very best investment I ever made. The very best. I found it. I built it. I took pictures while I built it. It's for my sons too. And we bought it in 2000 and built it. Almost paid off. By the time Chrissy graduates, that home will be paid off. Wow. And that is money for starters. Just that home that they will have for their life. When my grandma Malicious died, and y'all know I talk about this every now and then because that's my grandma was like my whole center of the universe. So many of us, that's the case, right? My mommy had me at 16, and I'm amazed at what she's done. I'm amazed. I love her, and I can't wait to introduce her into our community.
I know,
but
can't
she's
wait
so shy.
Meet her.
I know, me too. I can't wait. I hope she comes to our next event. And I think she will because it's in New York, and she's my boy Bob, who's gonna put the events together. She's obsessed with Bobby. She loves him. She's at his house. But Malicious. So for anyone who's annoyed, I'm sorry. That's what I called her to her face.
I love it.
When she died, and her siblings, when they died, and her parents, so my great grandfather was like the pillar of the community in Fort. He built most of the homes in the 40s and 50s in Fort Lauderdale and Hallandale and Hialeah. He built most of the Black communities. And Yulie Edwards, he was very revered. People loved and respected him so much. He was a huge piece. And when he died, his siblings fought over the property. His children fought over the property. What has been drilled, my ex-husband brother doesn't speak to him because he's a lot to take. But what will not happen to Christian and Carmelo has been drilled into their heads by mommy their whole life. And they know mommy does not play. Their whole lives, it's been drilled into them that they have to value family. They have to value family. They have to understand how generational wealth is created. El Boogie has created, and she's told Mello, she's like, listen, if mommy tells me that you're not getting up on time, guess what you're not getting? They're looking for property together. Her and Carmelo are, that's something that he's charged. She's like, I want you finding for Nana to invest in Charlotte.
Tori. Oh my God.
So those
that
are,
is
he's
so
14. But
that
that's
is so good.
She's like, I need to know he can handle what I'm leaving him. Because if he doesn't, I'm not leaving it to him. I will leave it to a dog. She said, I will leave it to a dog. Songs that have always been drilled. Yeah, she told him, I will leave it to a dog and it won't be. But if I can't trust that you're going to handle what I've worked for my whole life, you can't have it. And that's just the reality of it. So, money is great, but you
do that. Not many Black families, I can only speak on, not many Black families do that. And that's one thing that I think is definitely a disadvantage for us, not valuing the things that really are of value. And then, and then teaching our children that same thing. And property is one of those. And
and let me tell you, Steph, my babies, their friends are obsessed with like Supreme and Gucci and Louis Vuitton. Christian and Carmelo, beautiful watches. We were out in the store and my mommy, you know, El Boogie's like, oh, I think they these watches. I think they be, because I was trying to figure, everyone else had gotten them everything. And so I was trying to figure out my gift. I didn't just want to give them money. So I found these beautiful watches. And my mommy's like, oh yeah, these are perfect. These are gold, just beautiful. So then while I'm buying the watches, she's over talking to them section about the watches. And when I finished purchasing the watches, I got these two beautiful blue bags with satin ribbon. And I'm so excited. I've let my baby see gorgeous watches. And she's crying, even get the words out. And she's like, Sherelle, she calls me by my middle name. She's like, Sherelle. She's trying to get it out. And I'm like, what? Get it out already.
What?
And she's like, ew, that's so gaudy. Ew, I don't. Who does that?
Oh, wow.
I went back to the register, refunded the damn watches. Seriously. They haven't been raised on material shit. Yeah. They're not materialistic at all, except sneakers. Chrissy loves his sneakers. He got his off-whites, did. But they're not into materialistic stuff at all.
That's good. That's another value, though. That's another legacy that you're leaving them. I mean, I know you like your nails, you like your hair, you like your makeup, but you are still like all about let's get the money right first. And
and I definitely want to be clear on that too. That's another point that's really important. Like before I bought my expensive vehicle, before I got invested in buying these handbags and all of this stuff, and that's really my most part, like my nails, my hair. You know, my parents, I want everyone to know I was debt free. Okay.
Wow.
Debt free. I don't believe in buying things that you don't have the money right on hand to pay for. I don't have credit cards. I don't need credit cards. My cars are paid off. So those are so when you look at me and you're like, oh, Tori's so flashy and she's got her hair and the nails and the bags. And I do have my Louis Vuitton luggage, honey. She lives for that. But I did not do that. I did not. I said, when y'all change over, y'all gonna know Tori is debt free, and this is gonna be my own, that kind of those kinds of things. But after I got my savings up, I did all, because El Boogie did not play. So that's what I encourage. So yes, if you want to do that, do it when you've got, I think Damon Dash did a video recently, or I saw the video where he was talking about, did you see that online?
Didn't see it. No, someone shared it with me. I never got to see it.
Well, he's talking about, he's talking about how, you know, these artists, they get out there, they get their 100 grand, and then he broke down where the 100 grand goes. And I was like, true story, unless you have an El Boogie in your life, honey. El Boogie is coming to our community very soon. She's doing a series called What I Would Have Done at 19. And she did, to be 16, Steph, I can't imagine being a 16-year-old and doing the things that my mommy did. I really can't. And she always she's like, I'm not this, or I'm not that. I'm like, Mommy, look at your home. You have land. You have, really, she went the corporate route.
And she just set such a great example for you guys.
It's not, entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. Corporate.
She set such a great example, though. I mean, you had such a great example to live from. And that's why you're the way you are. Did you ever feel like, and this is going to like kind of a deep question, but did you ever feel like you missed not having a father in the picture? Or did she do such a great job?
100%. Yes. This is why the drama that I've had with her, like nearly 20 years practically, is because he's a lot to take. He's a huge personality. Anyone who knows him, Pretty Lou, he is the man. You know, he takes over a room more than me. No, not really, but no.
I'm like, really? No.
But, yeah, really.
Wow.
Even I sit down when he's in the room. Yeah, he's a big personality. And yes, I have a half sister, and she's 2 years older than me. She knew him. He died when I was 16.
Oh, wow.
She knew him. She got to spend her life with him, you know, and my grandma lived around the corner. My grandma picked me up from St. Thomas Aquinas every day so that I could go to private school. She picked me up every day. My dad worked at the Centrust Tower, Centrust Bank in Miami. My mommy worked in Palm Beach, and we lived in Fort Lauderdale. So my grandma was the only one who would come and get me because she lived down the street from St. Thomas. And so, yeah, knowing that he was around the corner.
Wow.
I'm sure that's why my relationships are so damn dysfunctional. That's why I don't have it.
I was going to say, how does that impact your life now? But you answered that question right there.
Yeah,
well, we'll have to find a Mr. I can't say Mr. Torres because that's we have to find a Mr.
God,
Torres.
yeah, we had a
Mr. Tori.
He acts like he's still my husband. I'm like, you do realize you're not my man anymore. You're not my man. You're somebody else's husband.
You got the sons. You got the name.
That's right. Listen, I feel like Tina Turner. I earned my name. Okay, that's my name. And Posh Life Bling, people knew me as Tori Torres, and so it became my name, and it is my name. And my boys are Torres, and that's really the main reason that I kept it. Were those two reasons. So,
I want to hear a little bit more about Posh Life Bling because we talked a little bit about. Let's talk a little bit about Posh Life Bling, and then I want to talk about a little bit now, and then we'll talk a little bit about what's coming up, and then we'll leave a little bit of time, look at the clock, a little bit of time for questions. So Posh Life Bling, I heard you talk about it, and I don't hear as much about it because I see you more on the Posh Girls end. You can tell a little bit like how it started and a little bit about what it is because we didn't really even talk about what your first company was. I kind of said it, but
yes. So Posh Life Bling is my baby. I don't talk about it because even though it's still the business that infuses life into my life every single day. And that's why I don't really, and I know a lot of people and a lot of coaches get really pissed off at me because I give so much information. Like they try to blackball me. I don't care. I'm in la la land over here. Seriously. I really am because it's so important for me. I have had in spite of the negative, and this is not in spite of, because of, I live with the principle that like life happens around you and you get to decide how it affects your world. You really do. That is my mantra. Okay. I have been through hell and still I don't care because I'm like, I am here. My babies are here. They're amazing. Life is amazing. I get to do what I love every day. So Posh Like Bling started from, like many things that I talk about, it started from a void. It started from a void. And this is why I'm such a believer that your mindset can take you to places that your day-to-day cannot take you. And I believe that so intently. Your mindset can take you to places that your life will tell you you can't go. I was at home with someone who did not want me to have. And I mean, every single, it's like, okay, you begged me to move here. You begged me to come here and marry you, leave my mommy, change my whole life. I had a whole other life and I did it. And now you don't even want me to have things. You don't want me to have freedom. You don't want me to have friends. You don't want me to have it. It reminded me of a documentary I just recently watched. It was really mind blowing, but I don't have that. I'm not made that way. Right. And so I was like, I need to create something that is mine, that I can make money of my own, that I can have an income, because he isolated me from all the people who love me. My Uncle Kiki, who was like my big brother, who would like take the world out for me, for my mommy, and, you know, have me like, oh, she doesn't love you. You know, just this mind trick kind of thing to take me away from the people who love me, right? We're about to get deep here.
So you totally understand all the stuff that's going on with that artist, what's his name? R. Kelly.
That's what I'm talking about. And me and my boys watched it and we were literally, I'm going to tell you, in real life, in tears. We were in tears because without even saying anything to each other. So that's why I tell y'all, live your truth. Live your truth, because you're going to help somebody. You're going to help somebody. And I have been that person. I have been in a situation where someone wanted to kill me. And that's what my mommy just said the other day. She was like, and it's not just a parent being a parent. She was like, he was never for you. He was never worthy. And I know every mommy feels that way about their kid, but there's another level to that. Yeah. Something that she saw. She said, Sherelle, I had seen it 1,000,000 times in 1,000,000 men. And that's the reality of it. And I tell my truth. You don't have to like it, but you can come on and challenge me. We can go on a live together. And let's talk about it.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, we can go talk about it, you know, because I live in truth. I'm not going to play games. I'm not going to sugarcoat, because I'm not built that way. So he did not want me to have even just the smallest thing. And I was like, okay, I've now allowed him to take me away from, you know, put myself in that situation, because my mommy told me not to. I own my shit. Yeah. Put myself in that situation. And now I'm like, uh-oh, now what? So my message to y'all is, you better listen to your mommies when they're trying to tell you about these men.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. But she also told me too. Yeah, she also told me too, you don't just go move with a man. So I was like, okay, I'll go marry him. There's got to be a middle ground, okay?
You went straight to the top. Like, didn't even sneak and just live together. Like,
right. I just went straight for the gusto. He was like, come and marry me and move to North Carolina. I was like, okay. Yeah, no, ladies, please take your time, know your value. And a part of that, Steph, goes back to what you were saying about daddy issues. I didn't have any. I didn't have any value at that time. And the world had put me on a pedestal. Oh, you're a pretty black girl. You're a smart black girl. But inside, I didn't feel that. I didn't. I was performing for other people. And this is real talk. And I love that we're doing this, because it's going to help somebody. I was performing for other people. I was doing all these things for other people, and it wasn't my truth. Just like being on a debate team and going to law school for El Boogie. That wasn't what I wanted. That wasn't me, right? So you got to be able to, and parents have a responsibility here as well, because one of the things I don't do with my kids is force them into what I want them to be. I give them a standard, I give them an example, and then I tell them, whatever your passion is, mommy is here for it. But let's go hard. Right?
That's it.
Whatever it is.
Right there.
I don't own you.
Yep.
I don't own you. You don't belong to me, as much as I would like to say.
And that is the best, that is the biggest truth, is that we as parents assume, like, we think, oh, that's my child. No, you're raising God's child, and God put something special in our job as parents, just like you said, is to see that thing that God put in them and nourish it and build it and give them the resources to grow it. That's our job. Totally.
That's it. That's Indian. That's how Indian. My grandma was raised on an Indian reservation. I don't know if I took that part of it.
Oh, wow. No, I never knew that.
Yeah. Yes, Black Hawk Indians. My great grandma was a Black Hawk Indian, and my grandma was raised on Indian reservation. And so one of the beliefs is that you don't own, you're a guide. You're a guide. And so my mommy did not take that, but I did. I took that to heart, that as much as I worship, y'all know I love my babies, but I don't own them. And one day, and I want them to be their own men. I want them to be great men. And so I have to know that as much as I love them, God loves them more, number one. And I can stifle their greatness. I can stifle it if I put them in a box. Because I feel like, I always felt like I was meant to be a singer. Like, I could sing my butt off. I love singing. I always wanted to. That's all I do is sing. And me and my boys, we make music. We sing. We have our little albums, our little records and stuff we do. But my stepdad used to pick at me. He'd be like, God, can we go anywhere where she doesn't sing? But I could sing. And so my kids are never going to have regrets, ever, that are attached to me.
So
you asked me how Posh Life started to wrap it up.
Totally, yeah. That's right. Why. That's where we started, right? We got to
yes.
But I'm
to wrap it up.
I am totally 100% with you, because my kids don't have normal careers. They one's a musician overseas. He's a band director and plays drums. He moved overseas.
Yes.
For the last 10 years.
The other one's an
opera singer. So
yes.
and that's they did what they loved, and we have encouraged. That was our thing. Like, you will make. And someone told me this, and I never lived by this, because I was one of those kids that the parents said, you need to go to college, and you need to do this, you need to do this, and I did all those things, and then you got to get your master's, and then I did this. I did all those things to come back around and find out that there's something else so much bigger than any of that. But that's what we encourage. We totally encourage that, and because we know that we didn't get to live our dreams from the beginning, we don't want our kids to have regrets. Exactly what you said. And we just have built up the things that they're really good at. We just keep feeding into and support them. So you're on the right. That is a word for somebody. Some parent out there that's like, my baby gonna be a doctor. Well, your baby might not want to be a doctor. Your baby might want to be a plumber. And he might be the damn best plumber in all of the city, but you're going to stop him because you got him over there in medical school and he hates it.
That's the truth.
All right. It's the truth.
It's the truth. Even Chrissy, as brilliant as he is, and the boy's brilliant. I mean, I showed his paperwork online. Like, he scored in the 98th percentile his whole life. Give him any test. His brain just works that way. Day-to-day work, he really doesn't care. He still makes A's and B's, but he doesn't care. But and he's the first one done. 10 minutes in, he's done. They're mad at him because he's pulling out his phone. He's like, I'm done. It's 2 more hours. But he might not go Ivy League. I'm going to choke him if he doesn't. But
if he does?
If he doesn't, he doesn't. He's gonna live his life, whatever that looks like to him, because you only get one.
Yeah. Yep. And that's actually a word for any woman on here too. Because people sometimes, I think that if you miss that opportunity, that it's done. And that's one thing that I absolutely 100% preach, is that that's not the case at all. That is never.
No.
My thing is you will have a chance to live your dream until the day you can't take a breath. That is the only time you can't live your dream, is after you take your last breath. Otherwise, as long as you're breathing and you can move, you can live your dream.
Yes.
But you don't want them to live like all their lives and then say, oh, I really was meant to be this. I'm just reading comment on here. I'm trying to catch some comments on here. Oh, I want to say somebody on there asked about their planner. So I'll go back and find that one.
Well, she can tell her to DM me.
Hey, natural plus underscore Brox DM at the Posh Girls Club. But anyway, so I know you started. Let's get back to when we got totally off cast. We were like on another thing,
Bling.
but it's cool because we all. I mean, someone needs to hear that, and especially people with kids. And I know Jamie is commenting on here from Blended Black Family about.
Hi, Jamie.
I told my kids, although I was preaching college to the older two, that I thought my younger two won't even be fed the college thing unless they show desire for it.
That's right. Because I'm going to tell you, Carmelo is an amazing artist. We wrote a song the other night in like an hour, the three of us. And it's kind of like Keisha Cole and Diddy meets the Ghetto Love Song with Method Man and Mary J. It is, but it's like about family. It's like the deepest. Oh, see, I said I'm not going to cry. It's like the deep. They said it's the family anthem. That's what they call it. Like, you know, that one is. And it's like there's no family out there that in some way hasn't dealt with that. And that's the way they heal. Their dad just had another baby. They're struggling. That's how and they are amazing. So, and Christian raps. I was like, what? He's like the squarest square there is. I was like, wait. Yeah, I was like, wait, what, you're rapping? And it was so deep. Which bodes with his intellectual.
Yeah.
It was like Jay-Z, Kanye, like, oh my, I was just mind blown. And whatever they wanted, and Carmelo with his music, y'all know he did the music at E-Code, he was the DJ.
He was the DJ.
He's passionate about it.
Says success doesn't come in a box.
That's right.
It
does not. And I think if we can get that and stop telling our kids what they need to be, because they are given their passions just like us, just like our ladies in the socialite and in our private group and in the Posh Girls Club and the women that you come across. They're given their passions for a reason. And so that is why I am here to help whatever you are passionate about, that you can monetize that in some way, that you can do it. Even if you don't want to monetize it, that you can put it out there in a real way. That's I'm all for it.
That is the truth. And I know the socialites is one. Well, I'm in the socialites, but I've been around since like last year. I told you it was last year, January last year. It's been exactly a year.
Yeah, we've been around for just about a year now.
Yeah. I started in January because I was laying on the couch. It was the same weekend because I get sick the same weekend after I do the gymnastics meet all weekend every year. So I always end up with a cold or something. So it was exact same time. But the socialites had provided, and I can talk about that a little bit as we close out. But I put the link in my bio for the socialites because it's one of the groups that I joined that provides a lot of information. And I love that because like I kind of like to learn on my own sometimes. So I like to have access to information and stuff like that.
Yes.
To be able to go when I want to and when I come and go. But we still haven't gone back to Posh, how Posh Bling started. We keep getting around the subject.
Quickly, I can say it really quickly.
5-minute story.
Okay, so it came really quickly from me not having my own money. And so there was a company out there, and this is what I tell you. You don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel. You just got to be smarter about how you use it, right? There was a company, there were two, one in the U.S., NYC Peach, who has long since been out of business. And I'm so shady. That was so shady. I'm sorry, y'all. And then a company in Europe. But you had to send your phone to them to get blinged out. And I was like, who's doing that? Nobody's sending their phones out. Cell phones were like so new and all of that. And I was like, I'm going to figure out a way, because I want one. I'm going to figure out a way to make these so that I can have one. And that's what I did. So I ordered the housing. Y'all know the Motorola Razr? This is when the Razr was out, the first Razr. Yeah. Paris Hilton was putting entrepreneurs. She was putting socialites on the map. There was no Kim. Paris was the one. And I got to work with Paris. She's one of my long-standing clients. Paris. So, I figured out how to order the housings of the phones. And that was crazy because I had to order like the whole damn kit, bling out the house, unscrew it, bling it out. Like me and Louie would be sitting in the freaking place, like, blinging out these kits, right? And I'm blinging out the actual housing. And I was like, this got to be it, because there were no cell phone faceplates. I always say I had a part in making cell phone cases and all of that. It came because of bullying. I used to design like Hello Kitty. Sanrio sued me. My best friend told me that if and you're nobody until you get sued. This is like over 15 years ago. And so, long story short, I started ordering the phones and selling the whole phone blinged out for $1,000 each. And I do like 15, 20 of them a month. And that's how I made my very first year was a 6-figure year. My very first year. Yeah.
Wow. And that was all because you found a problem.
Yep.
And created a solution.
If I can do that with bling, anyone can do that. Anyone can do it in any industry. If I can do that with a damn blinged out phone. Okay. Let's go.
Right. No, you have definitely taught. I mean, that's what you teach us. And that's what I love about you is that you really, you convince everybody. Like, I'm like, I know when I started following you and I was like, I don't know what, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what I pictured, but you really helped me put the picture onto paper and really put it into focus. Like, that was really like why. And I was like, I was so nervous about having you on. I was like, oh my God, but it's Tori. And she's like,
what?
Tori.
Whatever. You guys are awesome. I love my girls so much.
So tell us a little bit about how then you went from that to what you do now, which is help women build luxury brands.
Yes. So I was actually terrified. I was terrified to make the transition. And you know why? Because I had lost so much. I went from having it all, Posh life on the back of my Range Rover. Everybody knew me as Posh Tori, and I lost it all. When you lose in a divorce, they say you lose 70% of your income. It was hard. And I lost it all because I had someone who didn't believe that I should have the audacity to leave him. He's a complete narcissist. Sorry, y'all, I'm going in on him tonight, but it's the truth.
Sorry,
it's just honest.
My phone was plugged in.
I tell him to his face. So we have a very real relationship. But it's the truth. He did not want me to win and me when she left me. I couldn't believe that she left. I thought she would always be there. And it's like, I can't raise my sons like this. And so I did not start the Posh Girls Club for a long time because I felt like, y'all know I talk about imposter syndrome. I felt like even though I had done this, I made $119,000 my first year. I was not even 20, okay? My first year with no experience, just off of passion. And I'm going to go quickly because I know we have to wrap up. I know it's going to end soon, but I totally did not have I was doing, but I waited longer than I should have. But I knew that I wanted to give back because I never wanted another woman to experience what I had. We have gifts and we have purpose and we have reasons that we should be doing what we're doing. And so I waited years longer than I should have to start the Posh Girls Club because but I've lost it. And I went through this and I went through that. And even though I put in the case of the month and made the money back 10 times over, there was that part of me that was broken. There was that broken part of me. And I didn't believe in myself because of what I had been through. Trauma. I have been through trauma that you can't even believe. And so we'll talk more too. I don't know if you.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have you back on.
Do the after party.
Yeah, we definitely have to have you back on because I mean that's the thing. Like that, this is such a big topic, and I'm so glad that it went like a whole like different direction because truly, like it's that lack of confidence that we build over years of hurt. It's all those layers of hurt that tear down all those years of when you were younger and had all that excitement and inspiration. And actually, I'm like, well, one of the topics in a book that I'm like working on writing one day does talk about that. And that's exactly what it talks about. It's like how you go from inspired young person to overwhelmed and
broken down
under like broken adult person. Like what happens in between and how we can avoid that and the ways that we can fix that and move forward. That knows what. And so, yeah, so I mean, but you have done that or you're doing it. Like you never know what anyone's doing, but you are doing it and you're using that energy to put back into other people's lives. And that's why your life is growing. That's why your life is growing. Because you're not just doing it for you, because I can definitely attest to, I'm looking at the time, like, okay, we got 6 minutes before they kick us off. So we can, hey guys, if you have questions, throw the questions in the feed real quick, because I'm going to try to scroll through while I'm talking. But Tori, you have definitely, I mean, you're feeding that in other people's lives. And that's the mistake that I think a lot of people make, that they don't do. They're very, like, they gather that information. And that's why I think one thing that attracted me to you was that you were giving away so much information. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's like every week, like I'm sitting here 3 times a week, she's on live, and she's like having these, like, and that's what really has taught me. That's what nothing I'm learning, and moving forward, that's what I'm really moving into, is doing more of that, more of that information giving and information sharing. And, you know, I never feel like I know enough, but like what I've learned from watching you is that you keep building as you're going.
Thank you. I actually just told someone the other day, I was on a conference, and I said, when you're like this, nothing gets in. Nothing gets in. All you get is what you, those scraps that you think are so. But when you open your hands, everything flows abundantly. Things you never even thought of. So you better stop closing your hands, because that's power, right? That's angst, and that's rebelling. That's keeping the good. The good can't flow, just like the little bit you got in there can't flow, right? Your hands are open, there's abundant flowing.
Open. And you can receive. You can receive with open hands. You can't receive with closed hands. You cannot receive with closed hands. I just had this conversation.
So I know we're going to, if we run out of time, I did want to tell everyone, if they do text 77948, I will come on and do a little bit more Q&A. And I just wanted to throw that out there, because I know we didn't have time. I'm sorry, sir.
Text Posh.
Text Posh to 7948, and I'll do 30 minutes of Q&A. Tori for president. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. This has been so good. And I think it's just so, I mean, I appreciate your transparency. I appreciate your openness. Tell the ladies a little bit, and that we have a couple minutes before we pop off here. What kind of things keep you inspired? What kind of things keep you motivated? Like, what are you reading? What are you listening to? We want to know so we can become this.
Okay. So the things that keep me inspired is, number one, I know what I want to build because of what, like, y'all know I talk about imposter syndrome. I felt like even though I had done this, I made $119,000 my first year. I was not even 20, okay? My first year with no experience, just off of passion. And I'm going to go quickly, because I know we have to wrap up. I know it's going to end soon, but I totally did not have a clue what I was doing. But I waited longer than I should have. But I knew that I wanted to give back, because I never wanted another woman to experience what I had. We have gifts, and we have purpose, and we have reasons that we should be doing what we're doing. And so I waited years longer than I should have to start the Posh Girls Club, because but I've lost it. And I went through this and I went through that. And even though I put in the case of the month, and made the money back 10 times over, there was that part of me that was broken. There was that broken part of me, and I didn't believe in myself because of what I had been through. Trauma. I have been through trauma that you can't even believe. And so we'll talk more too. I don't know if you.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have you back on.
I'm gonna do the after party.
Yeah, we definitely have to have you back on, because I mean, that's the thing, like that, this is such a big topic, and I'm so glad that it went like a whole, like, different direction, because truly, like, it's that lack of confidence that we build over years of hurt. It's all those layers of hurt that tear down all those years of when you were younger and had all that excitement and inspiration. And actually, I'm like, one of the topics in a book that I'm like working on writing one day does talk about that. And that's exactly what it talks about. It's like how you go from inspired young person to overwhelmed and
broken down,
broken adult person. Like, what happens in between, and how we can avoid that and ways that we can fix that and move forward. That knows what. And so, yeah, so I mean, but you have done that, or you're doing it. Like you never know what anyone's doing, but you are doing it, and you're using that energy to put back into other people's lives. And that's why your life is growing. That's why your life is growing. Because you're not just doing it for you, because I can definitely attest to, I'm looking at the time, like, okay, we got 6 minutes before they kick us off. So we can, hey guys, if you have questions, throw the questions in the feed real quick, because I'm going to try to scroll through while I'm talking. But Tori, you have definitely, I mean, you're feeding that in other people's lives. And that's the mistake that I think a lot of people make, that they don't do. They're very, like, they gather that information. And that's why I think one thing that attracted me to you was that you were giving away so much information. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's like every week, like I'm sitting here 3 times a week, she's on live, and she's like having these, like, and that's what really has taught me. That's thing I'm learning, and moving forward, that's what I'm really moving into, is doing more of that, more of that information giving and information sharing. And, you know, I never feel like I know enough, but like what I've learned from watching you is that you keep building as you're going.
Thank you. I actually just told someone the other day, I was on a conference, and I said, when you're like this, nothing gets in. Nothing gets in. All you get is what you, those scraps that you think are so. But when you open your hands, everything flows abundantly. Things you never even thought of. So you better stop closing your hands, because that's power, right? That's angst, and that's rebelling. That's keeping the good. The good can't flow, just like the little bit you got in there can't flow, right? Your hands are open, there's abundant flowing.
Open. And you can receive. You can receive with open hands. You can't receive with closed hands. You cannot receive with closed hands. I just had this conversation.
So I know we're going to, if we run out of time, I did want to tell everyone, if they do text 77948, I will come on and do a little bit more Q&A. And I just wanted to throw that out there, because I know we didn't have time. I'm sorry, sir.
Text Posh.
Text Posh to 7948, and I'll do 30 minutes of Q&A. Tori for president. Oh my God.
Oh my
I love it.
This has been so good. And I think it's just so, I mean, I appreciate your transparency. I appreciate your openness. Tell the ladies a little bit, and we have a couple minutes before we pop off here. What kind of things keep you inspired? What kind of things keep you motivated? Like, what are you reading? What are you listening to? We want to know so we can become this.
But I held back from. So I want to, I ideally, my goal is to build Posh Girls Club offices like all over. I never want anyone to feel like, where you can go in, you can have a little community, have your pretty, everyone used to love my wall. That was one day. I want people to not feel held back by things that have happened to them, right? People to not feel bad things that have happened to them, and have resources right there. They can go in, they can do their selfies. They can, I don't care where you are in life. I want them to have that opportunity. And yeah.
I love it. I love it.
What
and
I'm reading.
We're here a minute and 58 seconds remaining. This is the first time I think I've ever gone with so everybody follow Tori at the Posh Girls Club, Diamond Girls, the magazine. You'll find my articles there, and you'll find lots of great articles in her magazine every single month. Still have Posh Tori Blings, and Posh Tori, and agency.
They can find them all on my feed.
I know. I'm like, agency is the city. So I will have, when I link this in Instagram's IGTV, I'll have all those links in there. And then I'll have a link to the YouTube video if Instagram lets me be great and save it. If not, we're going to have all these questions and everything in here. So whatever. Yay! That's how it works sometime. Tori, thank you so much. This has been such a blessing. You're coming back on because we didn't even get to touch the surface. The surface on how amazing you are. Everybody, thank you so much for joining. If you have questions, I'm going to try to scroll through them. We'll try to get back and send messages out to people. Otherwise, meet us, text. Tori, can you say that again?
Text the word Posh to 77948. Y'all got 30 minutes online with me. I'm going to tell you where to meet me in just a few minutes and Steph, so that we can do some more Q&A for 30 minutes because my babies want to go to dinner. So text the word Posh. Text the word Posh to 77948. And I'm about to send out the text to where to meet us.